In this video, I'm going to be philosophizing on consistency as it pertains to the personality characteristics most concerned with the overarching subcomponents associated with intermittency and or persistence and or resilience, each meaningful to engage repeated, more deliberate, essential and or necessitated underlying psychological need satisfactions directly and or indirectly related to one's self-preferential evaluations of what is most meaningful to satisfy certain internal and or external conditions future-oriented towards one's life pursuits and or personal goals, that is most meaningful to engage more healthy psychological functioning with the appropriate consistency, not more serial, back-to-back, narrow-mindedly repeated, counterproductive consistency that fails to appropriately satisfy certain essential and or necessitated underlying psychological needs within other areas of one's existentia. Meaning that it's the appropriate amount of intermittence that is a unique personality characteristic within consistency, the opposite polarity being abandonment, not to be conflated with intermittence. As there's intermissions, one may, for example, be attempting to engage more meaningful physical exercise within one's daily wellness checklist. One is desiring to substantiate into their daily activities, yet is having more difficulty putting off the appropriate physical exercise for months, with certain intermissions that they experience 2 weeks and then put off for another 3 weeks, having difficulty sustaining physical exercise consistently. However, they have not quite abandoned physical exercise, and this is meaningful as they're more likely to succeed in terms of their goals within the repeated intermissions. The more meaningful they can engage more near and or far cognizant evaluations of what's needed to repeatedly conduct meaningful physical exercise instead of abandoning the goals, is more likely to result in more consistency that is more likely to result in more ultimately positive benefits to the individual, instead of abandonment that's more likely to result in the loss of gains. Meaning that the intermissions help build certain more consistent, meaningful volitions and or conducts that are more likely to result in success. So you may see this individual whom puts off for 2 months engaging in physical exercise, and then perhaps 3 months, and then perhaps 2 weeks, and then perhaps a week and a half, and then maybe they engage more regular physical exercise within more meaningful intervals with more consistency as they build the momentum, engaging the intermittence. Persistence is most related to be it you are learning to engage physical exercise, you persist in more difficult to engage in unique physical exercises, be it that you are lifting weights, you may persist in terms of the appropriate just above your ability to lift certain weights, say 15 pounds, you were struggling prior with 10 pounds, yet you've developed the competence to be able to manage 10 pounds most meaningfully and have decided that you desire to attempt 15 pounds. The first repetition of 6, you're able to conduct meaningfully, yet you feel the difficulty upon the second set. Persisting would mean being able to carry out the 6 desired repetitions within, be it 4 sets to completion, with some resistance and or difficulty. Be it you are unable to complete, yet desire to complete and or are trying to, this is also persistence. Yet giving up without the attempt to try is flimsiness, the opposite polarity of persistence, meaning that an individual is more likely to avoid the goals they desire to satisfy within the self-task they engage, compared to resiliency, be it that one in this situation has difficulty even going to exercise and or desires to exercise and or may engage in certain exercises and may even be injured, may within subsequent weeks engage stretching and the appropriate step-by-step training to break down what exactly went wrong, reevaluate, approaching physical exercise to succeed, accomplishing the goals they had not previously been able to accomplish. This is resiliency, being able to come back from your failures meaningfully in terms of having failed and being able to accomplish more than you had been able posteriori, with more consistency in terms of your conducts to, within the incremental step-by-step navigations towards your future-oriented goals, accomplish those goals most meaningfully with those meaningful comebacks. That's all I want to say for this video. Hope you have an awesome one. Keep those steps of action.